We're calling this episode Caregiver Redefined.
Yeah.
We are Charisma Care podcast.
Okay.
This is our first episode.
Charisma Care.
Charisma Care.
Okay. All right. I like that too.
Yeah. So we're here talking about our journey.
And we're doing it. So
And we're
I'm
doing
Nikki, and I am a marketing strategist, caregiver advocate, and content creator. But how I got started in all that is because of caregiving. 13 years ago, this is like the dawn of social media. My mom just got diagnosed with Alzheimer's, early onset Alzheimer's. And I asked her if I could share our journey on social media. Because at the time, all that I knew about dementia, Alzheimer's was that you get it when you're older, but my mom had early onset. So what about that part? So I just started chronicling everything. And I ended up accidentally creating a community of other millennial caregivers who were also trying to understand and navigate this new lifestyle of being a caregiver.
Oopsies, I just did a thing.
Yeah, and it was so cool. I mean, and I was learning so much, and I didn't feel as alone as I was when I first started, because all of my friends just ghosted, family members ghosted, and I didn't know that ghosting wasn't just exclusive to a partner. No, family and friends, they're also included. So that part, yeah. But then I got to, connect with fabulous people like you, T.
Thank you. You're
very welcome.
I mean, it's nice to have community, even though our experiences are different. I've never cared for somebody with dementia. My background comes from first caring for my ex-husband. He was in the military, so he had back pain, hip pain. He had TBI and PTSD. So I relate with some of the dementia experience, although they're different. And then I have 2 kids. I also found myself caring for my in-laws at one point. So I was caring for 5 people, and that doesn't even include pets. We had 2 dogs. They had a bunch of dogs. We were all living in the same home. And I had my first panic attack, which was quite the experience.
Oh my God. Like, where were you? Can you remember where you were when you had your panic attack?
Oh yeah. It was actually kind of the perfect time to have a panic attack. The girls were asleep. Everybody was laying down. I was having a conversation with my ex-husband about like what we were going to do, because this was like during COVID and we weren't expecting to stay there that long. We just knew that his dad was not doing well. He had back surgery like a year prior to us getting there, and he wasn't getting better. And we knew what that meant. So we had the opportunity to go. He wasn't working. I was his caregiver through the VA. So we had the opportunity to just kind of leave. My oldest was in kindergarten. I just had my second. So yes, we're like, we need to go. So we left for the summer of 2019. Then at the end of 2019, early 2020, we're like, hey, you can't go anywhere. Yeah. And we're like, oh, I guess we're going to have to stay. And maybe this is a good thing. So yeah, we stayed for quite a while, because that was quite a time. And during that time we were like, okay, so what are we going to do? And he's like, I think you need to do this. And I was just like, I cannot do anymore. And the panic attack happened. And again, it was weirdly perfect, because it allowed me to go through my feelings without having to worry about anybody else, because everybody else was sleeping. Wow. So like, it was a good 45-minute panic attack. I slept real good after that.
Oh, well, good on you. I remember like one time, like panic attacks for me are not convenient at all. Like one time I was at, before it got shadow banned, but Target, and the lady at the register was like, okay, that'll be $26.12. And I busted out crying, like, not because I didn't have that money, but just because it all hit me. Like, everything is always on me all the time. Oh my God. And she's just like, miss, you got it or not? Okay.
There's a line.
Yeah. Please move to a side. All right. Yeah, I wish panic attacks were a little bit more friendlier. That would be great. That would be awesome.
Yeah, no, I was quite fortunate to have that at that time. But yeah, no, we could talk about panic attacks at another episode, but that was a really pivotal moment in my whole experience kind of moving forward. But
yeah, like in the care journey, I feel like that happens a lot. It's like things that are unplanned just happen. And what do you do? That's why they always say that caregivers are the most resilient, because we are. We have no time to not be. And what will happen if we stop being resilient? Exactly that. The whole ship will crash or sink. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, both.
There you go. All of the things.
Yeah.
So it behooves us to be resilient, but I'm curious, like, if there's a way that we could balance being resilient and just being relaxed. Is that possible? Of course it is. That's why we're here.
Yep. That's what we want to do. We want to.
Yeah.
I'm really more into the data analytics. That's where my wheelhouse is. I have, since I've been working with the VA to get benefits for my ex-husband and assistance, I feel like I've figured out the best way to advocate in the medical field, to gather the data, to not get gaslit by the medical doctors, to communicate better with the care team, whether that's a social worker, whether that's the PT, allowing also for your loved one to not gaslight during the appointments. Because there's been so many times where I've experienced him not speaking up for himself or forgetting. I mean, you know, there's that whole like, you know, anticipation of seeing the doctor because you know it's an important appointment. So you kind of forget everything, or you get a new diagnosis, and after you hear that diagnosis, it's like wah, 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 and you don't hear anything after that. Like that's where you need to like really be paying attention, and then you know. So I'm really into the journaling, the writing down, the having the data in your medical record, so that way you can advocate better.
I love that. And you're so right, because performance anxiety is a thing. And I feel it heavy when you get the new diagnosis. And now it's just, I can't even think. I love that you have all of these lists and different hacks of how we can still stay like we're put together, like we are in control of this. It is okay. Not in control of the progress or any of the disease or anything like that, but in control of what is happening with our facts, right? okay. Facts on
the of ourselves too. I mean, like there comes like a point where whatever's happening outside, it's panicked, it's scary, it's whatever. If you can just look at the data, it allows you to separate your emotions from what's actually happening. Not that they both aren't too important, but especially when it comes to like chronic pain and dementia and things, it's like, yes, you're seeing a regression or some type of change or shift, positive or negative. I don't always make it negative, but like, you know, it's okay to acknowledge those things, but then also get back to like, okay, so what's the next step, you know?
Yeah, I like that. I feel like that would be better for my nervous system. Just having more data, having more organization, because sometimes I feel very scattered about and I don't like it.
But I'm excited, since I've kind of gone through this journey, to be more creative and start exploring more of me. And I feel like that's where you come in.
Yeah, I love it. I'm obsessed, super excited, if you cannot tell, because I'm all things style and self-care. I love that caregivers give so much and go hard all the time, but I don't like that we lose ourselves. There's like this self-abandonment issue that comes up, which, no shade, of course it comes up. We're doing all the things and we're trying to be excellent at it, which is why we're such badasses. Because we really are doing an incredible job. And by the way, if you haven't heard that yet for the day, you're doing amazing.
Yeah. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Let it marinate. Take it in. But where does style come in with self-care? I feel because when you can identify your own style, you are now paying more attention to you, focusing the attention back on you. And really, there's a way that you can balance both the care for your loved one and the care for yourself. And that is just one small way of doing it. Other small ways too, like, you know, making sure you're taking your own vitamins while you set out your loved one's vitamins. Like, those are little ways that you can still make yourself the main character. And I'm all about that life. And also your environment when it comes to creating those emotional respite, those safe spaces for yourself. You know, like you'll have one closet that you just don't open, you just stuff everything in there. But then you can have another space where it's just more serene vibes. You got the colors that make you feel good. You know, that is how we can redefine this whole caregiving gamut, make it better so that it's a more fulfilling experience, as opposed to Okay, so we got to do this again. Here we go. You
I
know, less Groundhog Day, more celebratory moments. Please.
Absolutely.
Yeah, please.
Absolutely. And I love, which I can't wait to talk about in more podcasts, how you use interior design, especially when it comes to dementia and using color, and how we can also use that for ourselves and bringing that in, whether that be flowers, whether that be the plates we use, whether that be an accent wall,
Yeah, like
or the accessories, like it's, doing it
exactly.
in budget, whatever we can, and with whatever we have. I think that's,
Doing
um,
it in budget. Oh my
mhm.
God. So T, I was talking to this caregiver and she's actually caring. She used to care for her dad, but her dad passed away. So now she's caring for her dog. And if you're listening, you're amazing. But we were talking because she had a trip that was planned and she could no longer go to that trip because her dog got sick and she was feeling sad about that. And I remember how many things that I've missed because of caregiving. Like, oh, okay, I can't go out with my friends because I got to take care of my mom. Oh, okay, I can't go on this trip because who's going to watch the house? Who's going to watch my dog and my cat and my mom? Who's going to do it? And all that self-sacrificing, it does suck. You know, like what do you do with these feelings?
There's a lot of anticipatory grief.
Grief. Yeah.
That's a tongue twister. And then there's also like just the change and pivoting of life period. Like there's a lot of perspective that happens when you're caring for a loved one,
Yeah.
whether that be your parents or a family member, or loved, like your partner,
Or a fur baby.
or a fur baby. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's hard.
And like when it comes to the sacrificing, I think sacrificing is a part of it, but that brings me back to the whole word should. Like we think our life should be this way because we're this age or we've reached this point in our life, so we should be experiencing these things, not those things. But really, if we got rid of the word should and we just said, well, this is the way life is right now, right? It's more temporary as opposed to this permanence that life will always feel this way, life will always look this way. I think that might be a better approach to handling anticipatory grief as well. So it's not anticipatory grief, is more like you're always expecting to lose something and therefore you're always grieving the loss of that something, whatever it is. If it's a relationship with your friend or your partner and now it's no longer there, or if you're witnessing your loved one losing their memory or their executive functions, like anticipating that loss is coming. But what if we handled it differently? Like what if we had a different perspective? What can we do?
Definitely, it's about being present, yes, and then also
Yeah.
understanding that, like you said, this is temporary, it's not permanent. And nothing is. I mean, that comes with everything, even if it's a celebratory situation, if it's,
Yeah.
something positive, yes, acknowledge it, celebrate it, all of those things, but also understanding that that's just also temporary. I
Facts.
think it's important so that way you're in it, you're really in it,
Yeah,
all of
exactly.
it.
Yeah, you're really in it. And you know what? Like, I'm always down for control because I am alpha energy at the end of the day. So even though things are temporary, I try to find a way that I can still have control over the concrete, over the permanence. How can I do it? And I could do it with one, having my lists, my facts. Okay, good. I'm in control of it because I've written it down. I'm also in control of my environment, what it looks like you were talking about, the colors that we're using. Even in my wardrobe, I decide. You remember that part in Pretty Woman? And she was like, I say who, I say when, I say who, I decide. I decide what I'm wearing. I decide what day I'm wearing. I decide. Just affirming myself that the decision is still mine in these specific ways really helps me to feel better about anticipatory grief, because even if we weren't caregivers, anticipatory grief is still there. Girl, what are you doing? What is that in the background?
Printer.
What is it?
In the office, somebody's printing out stuff on the Bluetooth printer.
Masking. I swear to goodness, it is our middle name. I hear that ripping of the sheets. I'm like,
I know, like ding. We had dings going on earlier when we're trying to record this. Like it's like we don't stop. Obviously, we are here for the caregivers to have our caregiver moment,
I
but
love it.
we're always doing caregiver stuff in the back.
Always, all the time
Always.
on.
So if you hear dings, if you hear the printer going, if you hear some kids in the background, if you hear somebody yell,
Then you know what that means. But we want you guys to know that in this podcast, we are going to be talking a lot about caregiving and breaking down the whole stigma and narrative around martyrdom. Analytics and data is definitely going to always be a thing that we discuss, and ambiance and self-care for sure. But we're also going to have guest interviews with a lot of other fabulous expert caregivers and just talent and professionals who mastered balance and all of the things that go into caregiving, plus some real talk, personal experiences, things like that. But that's what you're going to find when you listen to this podcast.
Yeah, we love the tips. We love the tricks. If there's anything who's listening to this who wants to hear from somebody as a guest, or you want us to talk about a certain topic, or if you have any questions, we would love to answer them.
Yes, you can email us, DM us, message us, contact us.
Yes, because we want to. Yeah, we want you guys to win. Feel good.
Absolutely.
Be fabulous.
Win.
Yes.
And that's it. We did it. We did it.
Great ending.